gorgeous. I wonder where the other one went. This is Isle of Palms, and that's the beach in front of the condos that we've stayed in.
Holiday Inn.
Oh, we're at the Holiday Inn. This is the beach in front of the Holiday Inn. Moving back here. That's a really cool pier. This is hard to do.
Not as much farther out as people are going, maybe.
I see them.
I thought I was seeing something breaching a while ago. I wasn't sure.
Well, where'd they go?
Same place. A little farther west.
There they are. Look at them. Isn't that cool?
Dolphins and sharks.
I wish I could keep them in the camera. They just, oh gosh, there's a bunch of them, isn't there?
Yeah.
They don't surface. I got a picture of you, Dale.
bigger balcony, but that's just what you do.
I'm recording this tape for your information to see what the structure of the house was after we uncovered all the bushes around the house, and to let you see that this is not a concrete foundation. This is a slab without a foundation, without a supporting foundation that's gone. It's this way along the whole side of the house. This is the front right corner of the house where the dirt was removed recently to avoid what was happening, water running in the house, because of the dirt was above the base of the concrete, above the top of the concrete, I mean. In the foreground, where the concrete slab stops and the previous house structure starts, there was dirt all up against a piece of metal sheathing that we have pushed back. At this point, there's a little dirt in front of it to create a trough in front of this to avoid water being up against the house. This is another view of where the seam on the house right there divides the concrete slab, and where the metal sheathing is covering the bottom structure of the house, the wood base, up to the porch. This is the corner of the porch. The wood that was there to avoid water running off the concrete slab, to steer it outward, to keep it out of the trough if at all possible. What I've got here is the previous porch. What I've got here is the previous porch that, since we moved in, we have removed all of these little concrete stone structures that were sitting on top of the porch that allowed water to stay up against the bottom of the house, right here along the front. As you can see right here, since the stone's been removed and allowed to dry, we're getting some show of rot. Water line, usually on the porch after it rained, would sit up to that edge right there, the lower edge of that top board. So when the porch is removed, we'll see what kind of rot is on the foundation of the house. This is the trough that I have created on the left front side of the house to steer water away from going under into the basement, because the basement was getting water in it. Again, the dirt level was up to the bottom of the outside sheathing and covering the base of the house under the dirt, allowing a lot of moisture and hopefully not rot. We will know when we take the sheathing off. This is the condition of the house after the metal sheathing was removed. You can see the line to show us that the house was set up on pillars, not a concrete foundation, and that the insulation under the house was fallen, the water line exposed. This little vent right there was the only ventilation in the basement And as you can see down through the side of the house, just under the bottom edge of this last outside board is the base of the foundation, the wood foundation. And looking at this point, you can also see that that shows that the metal sheathing on the front of the house is definitely covering up the base of the house and allowing the dirt to be shoved up against it. Again, here you can see where the insulation under the house is falling down. Here I want to show that the base of the house in the back is a stucco, not a concrete foundation. Only here at the corner, but you can see that because the rest of the house doesn't have it. So it just shows it on the back of the house. And it's that way all the way across the back of the house until you get to the new addition, which is just a slab. This is at the back door of the basement where you can see the house is stuccoed under here. Up to a certain point. That's where it turns. Right in that dark area. And goes back to the slab for the room addition. This is what directly under the back deck looks like as far as the foundation goes. And again, back to the corner. That has to be addressed first. From this angle of the house, you can see that the ground appeared to be raised in front of the house. And causing the problem. But in the wood from old flower beds, rotten. The plan is to remove all of this dirt and the porch the part that hasn't been removed yet, and bring the level down to below the bottom of the structure, which is about the height of the concrete blocks you see on the side of the house. A lot of dirt has to be removed to allow the right kind of drainage. The gutters were in such poor condition that I've removed them. They allowed a lot of water to just be funneled in areas along the front of the house, causing a water problem in the basement, and it had to be addressed. So the gutters are down. Right now the water is dispersed all around the house, and there is no water going in the basement. So water is staying away from the house structure at this point, and the excavation here will start next week. I wanted to get pictures, and I'm going to hopefully be able to show this to the inspectors to see what they didn't tell me whenever we hired them to inspect the house. Well, here we have the front of the house now. Bob's been here this morning, and he has removed the front porch And it looks great. Look at the step in the front. There was a second step right there, and that's still that metal sheathing across there, metal flashing. So we got to remove that so we can get down below ground, like on that corner over there. It's just another look. Got some work to do. We got to bring the driveway down. Move all the rock. That's where I moved my little tree and azalea bush and planted some irises over there in front of those trees. They were over here in front of the house. That fence is going to go too. This is where I dug out around my white lilac bush to get it ready for the bobcat to get close to it. Didn't want to ruin it, but I hope I didn't dry it out and kill too many roots. Bob's going to dump all the concrete. Says it's about 4 tons. And he's hoping he can dump it free, but if he has to go to the dump, it's going to cost $200 to dump it. And I don't know if he's going to tack that on the charge. I hope not. That's Bob. He's backing all the dirt up in there where I wanted it. I'm going to make a berm, and I'm going to plant some bushes along the berm. That's a hard-working truck. He sure done some destructing here. Look how high the bottom of the door is. Like 2 foot in. Still got to move a lot of dirt. We're getting there. Bob said I broke his camera because I took the picture. Call him Bobcat Bob. He does the dump. Oh, the house is going to be so pretty with all that dirt gone. It's in the morning, and I'm getting ready for another big job. This is the berm that Bob built, and I planted all of the bushes from the side of the house on, and as those bushes get bigger, we'll be able to hide that mobile home over there. The berm runs all the way down to here to keep the water from the hill coming down the yard. Now looking over here at the corner of the house, I haven't started with that yet, but all the bushes are gone except for the one. I haven't decided where to put that one. And I've been working and digging across the front of the house, getting ready for the concrete pour today. By concrete pour, I don't mean somebody else is doing it, me. I'm going to mix bag to bag. I haven't started right here in front of the concrete slab. That's another time. But right here in the front of the house, I've trenched a little bit right next to the pilings, and I'm going to pour concrete in there. I'm going to frame it up and pour me a little platform to sit one roll of blocks on across the front there. Here's another look so you can see the wood wasn't really damaged by all that water, which is great. I haven't taken away that board right there to see what happened, but if the lower part wasn't, I don't think that probably really be either. But there's 2 blocks of pilings right there, and when you get over to here, they went to 1, and I've just barely got under that footing so I can get some concrete under that edge and get some concrete there too. It's going to be about a 4-inch thick on the sides and then dip down into that little dip. And that should be enough because I am into the dirt. As you can see, there's a definite difference in the ground where the sand on top of that ground was added, and I am on the hard ground. So here goes. Well, I've been working all day, and this is what I ended up with. Concrete blocks give me a small area to pour at a time, and that piece right there, you know, I'm worried about because it's wood, but I'm going to pour concrete right around it. I think there's enough piers to keep it from fully supported. I guess right there on top of the first row of blocks that I lay, I will put some support. I'll get closer down there. I have poured the first bunch of concrete right there into that first. Took 5 bags, way too many. I'm gonna try to take up a little less space, maybe throw a little more dirt in the hole before I get going. I've averaged 1 bag per foot, so I'm hoping that's what it works out. But it's 3 o'clock or 3:30, and I've got to work till 5. Only got 5 more bags of concrete left, and then I'll run to get some more. Well, I'm done for the day. Now it's cleanup time. And all I managed to do out of 10 bags is get this first section done under the dining room and start the other direction. That's pretty good though. Goodbye. Okay, here we are at the back of the house. That back bad corner where I have put some concrete in the hole. There we go, got my shadow out of the way. Concrete to start the foundation of pouring this corner. I'm going to pour a big pillar. And up on the front, I have just got a little bit because it was in a pretty good sound foundation, so I went down about 6-8 inches and poured up close to the front. Okay, here's the front of the house, and I'm still going to dig out the front of that and making a little wall of concrete. This is what the front ended up looking like. I got a row of brick in there, and block, and got it all stuccoed. That was a hole I didn't get to start out with. I'll finish that later. And got my vents in. I have dug the ditch along the side of the house. The trench goes all the way back into the woods and carries around to the front of the house here, all the way down. This is the front right corner. And hopefully the ditch is dug deep enough and declines like it's supposed to be. I'm going to find that out. I'm going to go get the pipe and lay it in there. That's my next step. Here's a view from the the left front corner of the house as it goes down to the porch. And like I said, I'm going to lay the pipe in there and get it all leveled out. And we'll start with the rock. This end of the house is going to have to wait till spring. But we'll cover it up with a bunch of straw. Well, I just wanted to get a view of what that pipe looks like and how it's being laid out with the rock. I'll cover that rock completely up. I'm going to cover the pipe completely up with the rock. This is the right front corner of the house. Pipe's going to come up right there, so it could be cleaned if it had to. And it's covered up to the porch and then all the way down. This is where the pipe goes underground. It's got dirt on top of it. This is pretty much how I'm going to leave it till winter. I'm probably going to try to put a little mud barrier in front of that wood there so that the water don't run down the hill and fill up mud over my rock. See how it runs down till you can't see the rock anymore and it's covered with dirt back into the woods. Well, these are the last pictures of the season that I've done. I'll finish in the spring. It's full of rock. The woods there to stop the mud from going down in there. There's still a little depth there that needs to be filled. A lot of depth to be filled down there. Plastic's just covering the side of the house to keep the weather off the wood. And there's the rest. So far the dirt that is covering the end of the pipe down there has done really well. I haven't had any washing away. And it rained all night last night. And even the dirt up here in the front has managed to stay in place and not wash down in there. So here's till next year. Here's a picture of the front of the house. Managed to keep that bush right there in place. No guttering. We're thinking about putting stone at the base of the window there, and running stone all along the bottom of the house up to the bottom of the door. Possibly in the recess part right there in the front of the house. Maybe not. Only in the front of the house though, the stone. And then maybe columns at the ends, in the corners. That's the big stone. The rest of the house will be sided. Still don't know whether we're going to put guttering on at all. I'm thinking seriously about this first little window on the side of the house, having sliding doors right there that comes off the patio for a side deck on the house. I don't know. We'll see. This is where Nikki lives, on Baird Park Drive. And there's her car. There's Kaylee.
Luke, Mother. Telephone, your son is on the phone. Kaylee, don't you dare run across.
Oh, there he is, walking. Hey, little boy. Hey, little boy. Look at you. Isaac. Isaac. Isaac, look at me. And he's creeping his way over to Daddy over there. There's Daddy. There's Grandma. Who's that coming up behind Grandma? It's Gracie! And now she's over here with Abby! And Amy's making me coffee. You have to use scissors. No way. There she is.
It's like my pride.
Hi!
Nothing like you trying.
Say hi, Grandpa. Tell Grandpa hi and you wish he was here. Or you wish you could hug him. I'm going to show him this. I'll show him this picture and you can say hi, Grandpa, like you're on TV. Say hi, Grandpa.
Mommy, how many scoops? 1, 2.
2. Yeah, that's good.
I'm seeing.
Say it, Kaylee. Don't just wave your hand.
He can hear you.
Well, he can hear you because I'm going to take
Blow
this home and he can
kisses.
listen.
Grace, Abby, can you blow kisses?
No.
Grace, can you blow kisses?
Yeah.
No, no. They decided no today. Today's no. Today they wouldn't even go in the nursery at church. And there's my guy. Right there. Doing laundry like a good dad.
So mine.
Oh,
I
gosh.
see you,
I
Daddy.
had no work clothes.
What you looking at?
A month without ever
Kind of hard to get a picture of all of this, but here it is. The old wall's still up. There's the new wall. Kind of quits right there. We ain't done. We go all the way to that corner. It's got speaker wire. And the blue cable is cable TV. And then the energy. There's also, no, the blue cable's telephone. The black cable over there is cable TV.
That'll fit that one I got? Tell you what, that thing saved my butt more than once. And I dug myself out with a piece of hardwood floor and I had blisters all over my hand. The guy come pull me out with the tote. I had a toe strap. Getting ready to run.
Hey, Micah. Micah. Oh, aren't you a pretty dog? That's the insides of the piano upside down.
You got anything you're gonna watch on TV?
That's where all the strings were.
Got movies.